That's what editing's for. It's fine.
Perfect. Perfect. Don't come for us. It's not our fault. We were born in the 80s, and this is the most creative name that our families lovingly chose for us.
Yeah, it's not our fault. Like, it's everyone's middle name or first name.
It is everyone's middle name. What the fuck is up with that? Everyone.
You only get like 6 names to choose from. So,
I'm,
Marie or Nicole, those were the only middle name choice. Michelle, that was another one.
I have been told. In fact, I once had a job for 4 years where someone told me that I look like a Michelle, so she just jokingly called me Michelle. But she did it so frequently that people legit thought that my name was Michelle, and they would just call me Michelle, like, seriously.
At my high school graduation, there were so many Michelles like in the front row, but there was one that was her middle name wasn't Michelle. But to be funny, they made her write her middle name was Michelle, so that they had to read Michelle as everybody's middle name in the front row.
Oh my. Can you imagine, like, you know how when you say a word over and over, it just like loses all meaning?
Yeah.
Do you think that's for the
Well,
people reading names?
my hometown's very small, so probably not, but I bet her mom was pissed.
She's like, I didn't give you this middle name for a reason.
Oh, shenanigans.
Well, let's get into it.
Okay.
So, first off, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy life. I think we're both busy as women, just running households and running kids to and
Yeah.
fro, as
You got
they
a lot
said
of
in the
kids.
nursery. We have so many kids. Why do we have this many kids?
I mean, I only have one, so good job getting 2 out of the way right at once.
That's true. It's not like I did this twice. I just did it the one time and got the 2-for-1 special.
Did you do that on purpose in your efficiency?
You know, that is actually a very efficient way to like deal with childbirth, but like, man, that is
So not on purpose then.
that is not on purpose. Do you know how often I have people come to me and say, "Oh my God, I wish that I had twins," and I will like just straight like look them in the face and be like, "Did you say to me?"
Like, that was rude. Just back away.
Because I don't think you understand. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Do those people have kids? Do they not like remember how hard that was?
Exactly. Like people they actively have children right now, and they're still, even with their like multiple children or even like one child at a time, right? They're just like, twins, just get it out of the way. And I'm like, yeah, I don't remember like 18 months of my life, like just gone.
Sleep deprivation.
It's just gone. My
No.
mother-in-law was like on the kid's like second birthday or something, she was like, oh my God, I still can't believe that you let me take them for an overnight visit when they were like 3 weeks old. And I was like, I did.
I can't believe that either.
Wow, it was a surprise to both of us. I mean, I probably got like 6 hours of sleep.
Oh my God. You got some short-term memory back? No, anybody that says that is bizarrely out of touch with reality. What a weird. That's what I started saying to people who just say off the wall shit. Like, what an odd thing to say out loud. What
Oh,
an odd thing to say out loud.
that's perfect. That's perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, like, for the record though, I will say that I absolutely love my mother-in-law. She's like,
Yeah, she is the best.
she is the best. Like what's that movie? Anchorman, when he's like, this is my mother, Saint, whatever her name is, Saint Dorothy. She's a saint. That's my mother-in-law. She is a saint.
We do love her.
Dorothy Mantooth. That's who the fuck. Dorothy Mantooth. She is a saint. But yes.
We don't support mother-in-law slander on this podcast. I don't have one, so I'm team mother. I'm team Nicole's mother-in-law.
Oh my God, always. I will always support slander in general, but not against my mother-in-law. You can slander your mother-in-law or anyone else's mother-in-law.
Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law is dead, so.
Okay, maybe not her. God rest her soul.
fine.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. On today's episode, we are going to be covering long distance adult friendships, social media friendships, long lasting friendships, all of it, because Nikki and I check all those boxes. So let's just jump right in there. And Nikki, tell me, do you remember? I want to hear from your perspective, because I don't think we've ever like had a conversation where we like talked about how we met and became friends. I think this might be the first time ever.
Okay, I was actually thinking about this last night. So I kind of am not exactly sure. Okay, so here's how I think it went down. So we were part of the longest shortest time Facebook group, and then we kind of had like a smaller splinter group, and that my friend Heather added me to, and you were the admin of that. And then from there, I'm honest to God not sure how we got like super close, and I am forever grateful that we did get close. But then it was like, oh, you live in Kansas and I live in Oklahoma. And then we just started talking more and more. And then now you're one of my like closest friends. So I'm not really sure how that exactly happened.
It was magic.
It is
I'll,
magic.
I'll tell you how that happened. Okay, so the longest shortest time for our listeners out there is a podcast that was on the air for many years about what it was like to be a modern parent in this day and age. And we had toddlers at the time. I think mine were like mine were like a year old when I started listening to the podcast. And I discovered all the Facebook groups. And your daughter is like 9 months older than my kids. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she turned 12 in February. So she's like 8 months older. Yeah.
No, but if my kids are going to turn 11
Uh-huh.
this week, then
Uh-huh.
she's like a
So 4
year.
months. So they're both 11 for 4 months. 11, 11,
Oh,
12.
oh, no. Okay. She's gonna turn 12.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that you said she had already turned
No,
12.
she'll be 12 in February.
Okay. Okay. The math was not math for me.
Okay. It's all right.
My math ability is actually not good. It is not strong. We went into like parent teacher conferences this week, and the teachers were talking about these like math concepts, and I'm like nodding my head, and I'm like, and I'm like, God, I hope my husband understands what they're talking about.
Please don't expect me to elucidate out a concept here because it is not happening.
Yeah, they were like, oh, if you could just like practice, I don't even know any of the words to like repeat. They were just saying these words, and I had no what the correlation to math was.
You're like, yes, we will work on that for sure.
Yeah. Just be sure to put what you're working on into the weekly update so that we can do it in tandem.
Hilarious.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so we started with the longest, shortest time podcast.
Oh my God, it's full circle.
Similar in age.
Yes, the podcast brought us together, and now here we are on a podcast. So yes, the podcast subgroups brought us together. And then I think we like realized that we were like pretty close together in like geography, which was so novel because the group was like a national group. Like there was people from everywhere in it. And so the fact that we were only like 4 hours away from each other was like so fun. And I think we just started talking more and more like in the group and like the threads in the group. And then we eventually like switched over to like DM, and then we switched over to like text, and then we would like text each other. I don't know. How do you start texting out people that you are just starting to be friends with? Like once a week, once every other week, and now we text like daily? Like,
Yeah, like we do proof of life checks. Also, I think it's important for listeners to note that I know people joke about how they don't like people. I I don't like people. Like most people, when they meet new people, they're like neutral on them. People start out in a deficit for me. I don't like people. So I don't think you understand like what an honor it is for Nicole to be one of my closest friends.
Is it because I'm just like so detrimentally like cynical?
Perhaps we are very similar in that way. um but yeah, like I genuinely don't like people. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I genuinely love this person. Like she is fantastic.
Aww, that makes me so happy because I have always loved you. I've always been like, this this woman is not gonna bullshit me. She's gonna tell me, like honestly and genuinely, like if I'm fucking up my kids, she'll be like, I mean, like you'll do it nicely. You'll be like, I don't know if the pediatric association would recommend that.
I'm always here with the research. I'm like, studies have shown that actually really fucks up kids.
So maybe, try a different approach.
Yeah.
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 So I've always like super appreciated your honesty and like our ability, like our humor is like the exact same. We're just like everything around us is on fire and like what the fuck are you gonna do? So we're just gonna send memes to each other.
I know. That's the best. Well, and I can always say like exactly what's in my brain and you never judge me. And that is like the best. I'm like, I'm just gonna just drive my car off this road. And you're like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like I had that feeling recently actually. So, don't do it, but
But yeah, you're good.
yeah.
It'll pass.
Yeah. It'll come back. It'll also come back.
No, I very non-judgmental, but also like we can just be like, I'll be like, I'm just having a really mean moment. And I just need to say it, and then we can move on. And you're like, okay, let's hear
It's because
it.
I love mean moments. I'm like, yes, fucking tell me the mean moment.
Yes, because I'm so tired of having to be nice all day. I hate it. I don't want to be nice all day.
Well, and like not, I mean, like, and I, society has like shaped us into these like, relatively functioning members of it. But
Mhm.
deep down on the inside, we know that some people like don't deserve to be loose in the wild.
Oh
but
my
you're, but they're
gosh.
here with us
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes. And like our friendship has like when we went to Kansas City and to just spend the spa weekend and you saw like how crazy my phone is all the time. I feel like that like cemented you were like, "Oh my god, just throw it out the window." Just
Yeah. 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 I'm even imagining right now how when we went down to like the hot tub area,
Yeah.
how I could have just so easily accidentally dropped it into one of the hot tubs. Like, oops.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're just one of the few people that like get how intense my life is, and I truly appreciate that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely get it because I don't want that that level of intensity. like mine, like mine has been intense. Like it has had intense periods, but I would say it's like not a prolonged intensity that matches yours, like on any level.
I mean, when I went, so now we've hung out lots of time. I mean, not lots. It felt like several times
Yeah.
in person. And the last time I came and visited you, and you guys had that event, like that was pretty intense. So I don't know what you mean. Like you've definitely had intense moments.
Yeah, but they're not like prolonged daily. That's not my daily average.
Oh well,
That was an
you,
event.
you lucky duck. Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, we should live in the same. Like, I think that we work together, our long distance friendship works together well because we have the ability to flexibly communicate. Like, our brains work well because we can always, when we text, I can still feel your tone.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It does because I feel like I can feel yours too, even when um you're just like slightly annoyed with someone.
Yeah. Because that's like always. Yeah.
Well, it's not always, but I think that we know each other well enough now. Like we've talked about like so many things now that when I
Yeah.
hear the mention of a certain like name or a certain person or a certain like place, I'm
Yeah.
kind of just like, what have they done now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that foundation of like the years of history at this point too. Like
Yeah.
the building of all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I genuinely hate people. Like, so the movement from the offline stuff to, and then like COVID, I feel like surely people have gotten better at long distance relationships from like COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that was definitely a period when like some of my friendships were impacted. Like obviously, I think like everyone's relationships were impacted during
Yeah.
COVID. But I live in a city where we did take lockdown very, very seriously. So like the kids were doing remote schooling for several months. All work went remote. I lived in the tiniest fucking
Ugh.
apartment you've ever seen in your life. You've been there. You've been there,
Yeah.
So for the audience, when Nikki and her daughter came to stay with us, we had a pull-out couch, and when the couch was pulled out, pretty much like 100% of my entire house was just bed at that point.
The kids loved it. They thought it was
Oh yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. It was just because it was like wall-to-wall beds everywhere. That was the only thing we had room for.
They
when
like
when the when the pull-out couch was out, like that's how small it was.
it was so fun.
Oh
I thought it was amazing. And we appreciated it. We had so much fun coming to stay with you guys.
my gosh, we would have you back like literally anytime,
When I just
just
show
come.
up and I'm on your doorstep, you're gonna be like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah, and I'll be like, sorry Adam, I forgot to tell you that I just now found out about this just now.
But it's fine because we love her, right?
Yeah,
Right?
of course, and now we have like a house that actually has more than one toilet in it, so like there's obviously plenty of room now.
Yeah, it worked
Yeah,
before. It was fine.
it totally, yeah,
I
it
never
was
sleep
fun.
anyway. So.
Eee. See, I also could not deal with the sleep deprivation. I can't do
Reasons to not have any more kids.
it. Exactly, I'm done. So can't do it.
Oh, COVID. Yeah, so we live
Yes.
in very different politically minded places too. Sad moment of silence for myself. So my city took it the opposite tactic, and but my kids' school took COVID very seriously. So they went back, but they had mask protocols and very heavy like COVID testing protocols. Um, but my job is in clinical, so I was busy like around the clock. So, but we still maintain our friendship by basically me texting you every couple of days. Hi, it's me. I still hate everything. I love you. Bye.
Which I think worked for us because we were already used to that texting communication, right? Which is already kind of limited. Like you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
have like an in-depth like not necessarily, I mean, because we have had those like really long in-depth conversations, but over
Yeah.
text. But texting is definitely a more convenient just like means of communication. So I think we're already sort of used to that style.
Yeah.
Um so I think it was just our when we went into that like pandemic sort of lifestyle there for I don't even remember anymore. Um
You block that out
yeah,
too.
our
Yeah.
our communication styles were it was already like well aligned for the
Hmm.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was good.
it was good. It was good. Okay.
What else you got on your list?
All right. I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
How do you feel like this friendship has impacted you?
Hmm.
Um, we'll just start. We'll start with that. How do you think
Okay.
this friendship? Yeah.
I think so. Here's the thing. Somewhere in my mid to late 20s, I feel like I really found the value of like strong, positive women, right? So, like having you in my life, like I think you're incredible. Okay? Like I can't state enough like how impressive you are. Like you were like, "Hey, I hate where I'm at in my life. I can't handle being here anymore and my family is coming with me and I'm creating a better life for them." And you just fucking did it. Like you're a badass and I admire you every day. Like you, I want to be you when I grow up. Like you're so incredible.
Okay, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard because I was just thinking that I wanted to be you when I grow up. You're in a
I mean,
fucking
I'm
lab.
stuck here.
No, no, you are like the smart, like, I have some of the smartest friends in the world. Like, they're the hottest and the smartest friends. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not biased at all. Like, this is just objective fact. And you are one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like, just hands down. And you're just genuinely one of the best people, like to your core. Like what people think they are when they say, "Oh, I'm a good person." No, you genuinely are that, like in reality and in practice. And you set such an amazing example for your daughter. Um, you're literally the person that I go to and I'm like, okay, what can I expect in 6 months from this semi preteen childlike figure? Um, and you're just handling everything so beautifully.
Spoiler
And it,
listener, preteens, not it's not a good time. Just buckle up. Okay, keep going.
oh my god, yeah, not for the faint of heart. That is, it's coming.
They're trying, but it is hard for them. So be patient.
It's hard for all of us. What about us?
Get a therapist. It's not their job.
That's true. That's true. Out here breaking generational curses, breaking generational trauma, like the wherewithal that it takes to be aware of those things and then to actually put into practice what you want to be as a person and as a parent. That is beyond the reach of most people. Like, even if they have the awareness, it's really difficult for people to change behavior in the moment. And you do that so gracefully. And I always think like it sucks that you have to do everything, that you have to like do all of these things and you have to do it as a single parent and a single like income household. So in that regard, I'm like, I wish you didn't have to do that. But the fact that you do is so incredible to me.
Oh my
It's,
gosh, Nicole, I'm just like embarrassed. Like I'm blushing. I'm not that. This is
and I don't know,
awesome.
maybe that like mutual adoration is part of like why this friendship um has like, it's essentially built on mutual respect and love for one another.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like if I could give advice to like girls in their 20s, it is to find it's to like basically build a girl gang. Do you know what I mean? Like find other strong women and like build a girl gang. And if you're hanging out with women who don't make you feel good about yourself, like ditch them because
Yes,
like you should hang out with people who make you feel good about yourself and that can't be underscored enough. Like if somebody is making you feel bad, like they're not your people. Like
absolutely.
those small cuts start like cutting deeper and deeper as you go through life and like you don't need that because like you'll topple over and it gets harder and harder to get back up.
Absolutely. Um, Two things.
Hmm.
One, when you say small cuts, I think of When the Hills Have Eyes and they just cut that man, like gave him like 1,000 paper cuts.
I have not seen that movie. I don't enjoy being scared like you freak.
I'm so sorry.
I don't watch scary movies.
So basically that's what I think of whenever anyone says like little cuts. or like, you're dying of like 1,000 paper cuts or whatever.
Like
Uh,
Taylor Swift.
does
Just
she
two
have like
different.
lyrics about that?
Yeah, it's death by 1,000 cuts. We're two different people here.
I mean, I like Taylor. I have like, I have like far more respect for her now as like an adult than
Uh-huh.
I knew that I should when I was like younger, right? Like I think it was easier for me to like not appreciate her when I was younger because I was like, ugh,
Oh, you're
whatever.
not like other girls. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
classic like pick me material right here. I'm not even gonna deny it. And
Yeah.
like if you gentle audience have those pick me tendencies, it's best to just avail yourself. Is that the right word? Avail yourself? Just
What?
offload that shit. It doesn't serve
Yeah.
you. It doesn't serve anyone around you.
Just
And
nip that in the bud.
yeah, I mean, you just need a little bit. Like I had a ton of confidence when I was younger, but maybe I needed to like have more self worth because I didn't need anyone to pick me. Like I
Yeah.
pick me. Like that's all that
Mhm.
matters.
Yeah, you don't have to get taller by pushing somebody else down.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Which is
Mhm.
the second thing I think when I said there's two things. I don't really remember, but I think that's it. I think that was like, I think it was like, yeah, there's no reason to make yourself taller by standing on the backs of other people. Like you never need to. And I think that took me a long time to understand. I love to talk shit, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking shit
That's our favorite.
unless you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, talking like I love talking shit. Unless it is like actively hurting someone else, right? Like I don't think we should ever like push any other people down to like make ourselves feel better.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, just like
With the
offload.
caveat, if somebody, I just want to say, if you're looking to get your feelings hurt, you will. I just want to say
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think there's definitely like there are definitely people. Well, I saw a quote recent, like not a while ago, whatever. I've seen a
Mhm.
quote and it stuck with me for some time, and it's like other people's opinions of me is none of my business.
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
let them think and talk the shit. You mind your business, I'll mind mine.
Yeah.
I
And like
don't.
everybody gets to vent. Like their
Yes.
private shit is their private shit. Like it's okay. Like it's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And usually talking shit is like not your permanent opinion of that person. It's just like a moment of
Yeah.
frustration. So,
Yeah. So it's okay. Like chillax. But yeah, and you don't need to tell anybody else what anybody else says. Like relax.
yes, yes. That's the other thing is like
Yeah.
when like that's like the line between like talking shit and like straight up gossip is like is the
Mhm.
person passing the message along.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Yes, I have this discussion with my daughter all the time because I'm like, there's a difference between venting and gossip, and you have to keep other people's secrets because that makes you a good friend, and then you don't start any drama either.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
like unless people are being like really truly harmed,
Yeah.
you're
Like
not
if it's
helping
just
the
words, it's
situation.
okay. As long as nobody's in danger, like it's fine.
Yes. Exactly, exactly. But you can tell me, your mother,
Yeah.
because I want the
Yes.
tea.
Oh, I know all the middle school tea. I know it all.
Oh my gosh. This actually brings me to my next question, which is, how do you think our friendships now as elder millennial adults differ from those of our parents' generations? Because I never would have told my mom any of the middle school. Like I never would have told her anything. Because she is such a freaking gossip herself. If in fact, if I want my family to know things, I'll just be like, okay, mom, I'm going to tell you this, but like, don't tell anyone. And then within like 4 hours, everyone knows, right? That's how I like,
Yeah.
that's my phone tree for the family.
Oh, I agree. My mom is a terrible secret keeper. Also, she tells my brother everything. And I that's not what I'm about. Like you don't get to tell my brother. Like you don't get to, you know what I mean? Like Also, she can't just like keep it in. Like she wants to like try to fix it, or she'll be like so mean to the person, like they're
Yeah.
like dead to her, and I'm like, whoa, chill. Like we're friends again. Like relax. Or like you can never
Yes.
vent about a boy to her, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
yeah, like they're
That's
never
the
allowed in
end.
the house again. Like,
Yeah. Which, as a mother, like I get it. Like there have been
Mhm.
some kids that I've been like, what is happening?
Oh my,
And then
I
like the
get it. I
next
have
week, yeah.
beef with so many 11-year-olds.
Yes. And then I'm just like, what? And then
I'm
my kids come
you.
home, they're like,
Your
oh,
kids
I want to.
called me and told me somebody was being mean to them. I probably have beef with those kids too. Like,
Absolutely. I have beef with people that I have never met and like without the context of what they have like done or said to like your child.
yes.
Like I have beef with those people now. Like
Yeah. So like I get it, but like yeah, I definitely B shares more with me than I would ever with my mom. And I think some of it is like my mom truly also did not care. She did not want to hear about my day. She did not 100%.
yeah.
That we're very different parents. Like she was
Yeah.
like why are you talking to me about this?
Oh my
Like
god. Yeah. I don't, and this is actually really difficult for me because I'm not like a touchy-feely person. Like I'm not like, "Oh, come give me a hug and like let's talk about our feelings." So it's actually like a lot of work for me to remember to be like, "How did that make you feel?"
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Like sometimes she's just like laying on me and I'm like, oh.
Yes. 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 I think I've recently had that where I was like just trying to like lay on the couch after dinner and like I
Yeah.
had a blanket on and like the dog was laying on me and the kids were like all over me and I was like, "Mommy needs some space."
Yeah. Well, and they get like so offended. I'm like, hi, I just need like a half hour where nothing is touching me.
Yes. Yes, literally. Just give me yeah, just give me like a little bit. And like Sawyer's like playing the Oculus like next to me so he can't see me and he's like hitting me with the controller. He like punched me in the stomach
Oh
yesterday. I was
my
like walking by.
God. Yes. I'm
Oh,
like very sensitive to sounds, and B was like dribbling a exercise ball, and I was like, that's enough of that. It's enough of
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, I cannot deal with the sound of like a ball like bouncing in my house. I'm just like, it's like nails on, it's like worse than nails on a chalkboard for me because I know that eventually the chalkboard will end.
Right. Well, and are you allowed to do that in your apartment? Like, what is that? I don't even know the
Um,
protocol.
so part of our apartment is over the garage, so like there's
Oh,
really
okay.
nobody
Nobody
in
below
that
you.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's fine in like some parts. And like the kids know those parts.
Yeah.
But
Because they're
I
smart.
can hear it.
Uh-huh.
I can hear
So
it.
B's bedroom is above my bedroom, and I wanted to do that on purpose so that I could hear when she got up and wasn't listening. But now I'm like about to move her to the other end of the upstairs.
You're like, yeah, let's move you to the bedroom with a window that you can't easily climb out of as a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want her now. Now I want her away from the crazy, scary neighbors. So it's very. But then she's so far away from me that she can't hear when I yell if I move her to the opposite end.
Oh, just get an Alexa. I'll be like, Alexa, tell
Well, I
B
just call her
to.
on her cell phone. Ugh, because now I'm that parent.
No, that's wonderful. That's okay. So like here we are because when I was a kid, me and my mom would literally be like calling for my dad and brother from like the
Yeah.
kitchen, being like, "It's time to eat," and I would literally just be standing in the kitchen. I have no idea why I didn't just like walk 10 feet or whatever, but I would just be standing in the kitchen screaming, "It's dinner time." Like, and I'm like, "Why aren't you guys listening?" And I'm like screeching, and I'm sure our neighbors are like, "What the fuck is happening in that house?"
I'm sure my neighbors think that now because I am loud. But when I moved in here, there was an intercom, but like it doesn't work anymore because the house was built in the '80s. So God knows when the intercom stopped working. But B was like, "Do you think we could get that fixed?" And I was like, "Absolutely not."
No. You know what happened? I'm absolutely positive some teenager in the 90s just splashed a glass of water on it
On purpose, yeah.
on purpose. It's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. But speaking
God.
of like the 80s and the 90s, online relationships and like friendships were just not a thing back then. But I feel like our generation really pioneered the social friendship, like the online friendship.
Yeah.
How do you think things are going to like continue to change and evolve for like our kids' generation?
Yeah. So I don't know. Do your kids have cell phones yet?
They have devices, but they're all tied to like my phone number and Apple ID. So I get all the messages that come across. And now that the kids are like fifth grade, I'm like really regretting that choice because I'll look at my phone and I have like silenced the notifications, but I'll look down and be like 500 new messages. And I'm like, what the what?
Holy cow. Yeah. So I let B have her own phone. She's had it for I think 2 years now because she's a competitive gymnast, listeners. So she's at practice for a million hours a week. So I need her to be able to get a hold of me in case anything happens because she does not want me at the gym with her, so I drop her off and leave. So I have to monitor that pretty aggressively because there have been some incidents. Like for example, one time she and her friend were on Facebook Messenger Kids, and they thought it would be funny to bend over, and they still had clothes on, but bend over and take pictures of their butts in their leggings and send it to each other. So Facebook Messenger sent both me and the other friend's mom messages letting us know that they were taking pictures of their butts.
Okay. I have
So
attention thoughts. Go on. Go on.
so yeah, I think that one thing that we didn't have was monitoring.
Yes. Yes. Specifically, yes.
But also like social media this young also. I don't want her to have a social media. Like some of her friends already have Snapchat and I'm like, absolutely not. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Yeah, like I know what Snapchat was created for and no thanks.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah. So I am not letting her have social media. And I'm currently it's like 16 if I'm being honest, and I know that's a little crazy, and I don't care. It's so bad for mental health.
Yeah, it is. It is. In fact, like two things. The first is, could you imagine the engineers at Facebook, right? So like they hire like amazing talent being
Uh-huh.
asked to create something that could monitor children taking pictures of their butts.
Yeah,
Like a team meeting,
honest to God, like, yeah. So
like
like we absolutely got a message saying that they were taking inappropriate pictures.
that's nuts. That's
And I was just
that's
like, what the hell?
could you imagine someone in like 15 years into like the profession, they're like grade A software engineer, senior software engineer, and they're like, could you write some code that would detect children's butts?
Oh my
Can you
God.
just can you have that done by Friday? Like we need
And
to roll this out.
she was mortified, like, because
Of course.
yeah, she was like, we just thought it would be funny.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she texts a million times a day. And that because one thing that they don't consider because they're so used to just having that access to each other 24/7 is that their little brains need breaks
Yes.
and that space from each other to cool off.
Yes.
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane because I think that I was like on the phone with my best friends for like hours and hours and hours every day, like tying up the phone lines
Yeah.
at that age. Like our parents didn't like think, they were just like, oh, that's like normal teenage behavior. We're like seeing this like in the movies and on TV, like it's fine. But yeah, our kids' brains do need breaks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, social media is like, it has like lived its entire like origin story up until it's like in its like villain era right now.
Yes, absolutely. I am villainizing it in Brinley's head every day. I'm
I'm
like,
like,
it's so bad
yeah,
for you. It's terrible for you. It's very bad.
it is so bad. It's so bad. But I'm wondering like what social media engineering is going to be happening that we're just, we know about Snapchat, about Instagram, like Facebook, like all of the traditional ones. But I think like the rise of like the YouTuber
Oh
and the
yeah.
influencer has come in such
Mhm.
a way that it's not on our radar as much, right? Because it's mostly like the kids like consuming that information or that like those images.
Oh, she wants
Um,
to start like a TikTok channel, like, and I'm like, you're not doing that, like.
yeah, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is really interesting, like how quickly they latch on to being like, oh, I want to create something, which is wonderful. Like, I want you to create things and like share it with the world, but can it not be your body? I mean, like, do what you want when you're older,
Consumable, yeah.
right? When you're an
And it's
adult, when you're like a legally consenting adult.
nice. Yeah, it's nice that she
Yeah.
wants to talk to other people, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nice that she can talk to your kids, right?
Yeah.
Or her
Which they
friends.
never do anymore.
I know. That ADHD hits hard. The object permanence is a problem.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I actually forgot until this very moment that they do have the ability to talk to each other.
Yeah, B is like so bad. She's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but like I super worry about everything. I'm like, yeah. Well, and then sometimes she'll just say something or somebody will say something to her and I'm like, you guys cannot say that stuff. Like,
But like we learned the hard way by just
yeah.
saying that stuff.
Truly, truly. I guess I feel like I have to like read but then also on like what you said. I'm like, but like do I have to read because they'll figure it out, right? I don't. The line is hard.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm torn as well because I really want them to, like, I really want to like help guide them through these like social
Mhm.
protocols that we have in place. But I also understand that things are changing. What's socially acceptable between two 10-year-olds to 11-year-olds, like two
Yeah.
preteens, like whatever, is different than what I would consider acceptable between like two adults, right? But that's my own like brain's limitation. Um, I think mostly, yeah, I'm it's like where is the line? I want to keep them safe, but I want them to like learn and experience and like figure things out for themselves. Um,
Yeah, so I was trying to describe to Brinley like this age and how hard it is, and because she asked me about um, like a boyfriend, right? Okay, because she's had her first little boyfriend. And I
oh,
was like, okay, why don't you explain to me like what that means to you? Because my mom like tripped out, right? And she's like, oh, like we like sat by each other at lunch, and I was like, oh, okay, that's sweet,
that's reasonable. Yeah.
yeah. And she was like, and then like we almost held hands, and I was like, oh, okay.
Aw. Aw.
And she was like, but like we broke up, and I was like, okay.
Okay. We
Anyway,
almost held hands.
but so I was like talking to my mom about it, and I was like, you stop talking to her. You just stop talking to her because you don't understand. Like, I let her do these like little low stake things because it's okay for her to have a boyfriend at this age because she's almost holding hands with this boy.
Yeah.
Like, this is how she works out how to be in these quote unquote relationships so that when it matters later, she already understands that it's okay to break up. Break
Yes.
up, quote unquote.
Yes.
And she was
Yes.
like, oh. And I'm like, yes, dummy.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
ugh.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that like letting her have these like friendship blow ups where they are texting and they're mean to each other kind of results in the same thing where they're texting and they get mad at each other and then they work it out the next day. Works the
Yes.
same way.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely does. And I think if our parents could see what we were talking about and like how we were talking at that age, it would blow freaking gasket. Like, I think if we looked back on this conversation, we'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, for
Just
sure. Have you read your diary from like middle school?
Jesus, no, I think I burned all that. Like, I think they're gone.
It's like
Like,
angst and drama, man.
I am so mad at my mom for not letting me walk down these like dark alleys at night by myself. She is so cruel.
I hate her. She is the worst.
The worst. The worst. Obviously. Obviously. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I have something special for us
Okay, I'm
next.
ready.
Okay. I'm going to read to us a Reddit story. And this is actually not about a millennial. It's about like a Gen Zer, but I think it's still applicable to what we're talking about today. All right. So the title is Am I the Asshole for Being More Distant with My Best Friend Without Telling Her? And this is from a user JNN 11,000. And I will read it to you now and then we can discuss.
Okay.
Okay. IDK. We've been very close best friends since junior year of high school, and now we're both 21. I've graduated and working full time, and she's still in school. I would say I started noticing that she hasn't really changed or grown from when she was in high school, while everyone else kind of has. I find myself often getting annoyed at the things she complains or gets sad about because it's so trivial and I can't relate, or she doesn't have much responsibilities, and because of that, I feel like she hasn't matured. Period. I feel like many of those commas could have been periods, but it's fine. For example, we used to go to the gym together and she stopped because she doesn't have time to go. At the same time, she stays up all night gaming and sleeps until 2. IDK, whatever she does the rest of the day because she's only taking blow off classes. Meanwhile, I wake up and work 9 to 5, do chores, and still manage to go to the gym. I get irritated hearing her say she doesn't have time, just small stuff like that constantly, but it's getting to a point where when we call, I don't even want to hear her complain because of how much it annoys me. I'm definitely being more distant and talking to her less because of this, especially when I'm having a stressful day. We used to call all the time, but I've been lying and saying I'm in the middle of something more often than not. On top of that, I feel like she never really truly cares what I have to say unless it's major stuff. She can talk nonstop about every detail of her day, but when it comes to telling me about mine's, I can tell she's not interested, so I rarely talk about myself or tell her things going on in my life anymore. I arguably have a lot more things constantly going on, but I go to others now instead of her. It's come to the point that whenever we talk, I just feel annoyed the whole time because I know as soon as I talk about myself, she won't listen. I used to love listening to her side, but once I started noticing how she doesn't really listen to me, I started getting sad and annoyed. I just feel stuck. I truly love her as a best friend still, just feel bad because I know she notices the distance too, but thinks that just because I'm busy with life. She is a very sensitive and anxious girl, so I'm wondering that being distant without communicating is not fair to her, but I just don't know how to tell her without hurting her feelings because this boils down to her character. A lot of my friends have noticed this and told me about it, so it's not just me. Am I the asshole for being distant without telling her why?
Mm, yes. Okay. So the thing is, I don't think it's not that you're an asshole. It's that this is the thing that happens where everybody kind of matures at different rates. This is kind of nitpicky. Like you're prioritizing go to the gym when your friend doesn't want to prioritize to go to the gym. Like, get over that. Like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Nobody cares.
Right. Right. Like if that is your priority.
Cool.
But like you're telling me that like you're so busy and important and you have so many things to do, but
Yeah.
like the only thing that you specifically mentioned is going to the gym.
Yeah. Like, and you have a full-time job. Broski,
Yeah.
so do we all. Anyway.
Yeah. Everyone does. Everyone does.
But the thing, I understand being the friend that you feel like you're not being heard, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the real complaint here. Like you're latching onto the gym because that is your concrete thing. Like that was the thing that you always did together, and then suddenly they have bailed on that. Okay, like that is not your real issue. Like you feel hurt because they're not listening when you have some other shit going on. So I think that nobody's the actual asshole here. You're just going through some growing pains. And sometimes you grow at different rates and emotionally mature at different rates. And you are currently in a different place than your friend is. That's what I think.
See, this is why you're such a better person than me. You are so nice and understanding. I was like, oh, a resounding asshole. Like undoubtedly, you are an asshole, and you might also be a narcissist. Like, get over yourself. Like I think of myself as like an empathetic, like compassionate person. And I was like, oh, well, maybe your friend's going through like a depressive spell because at this age, like nobody really knows what they want to do with their life. So I really don't blame her for taking like blow off classes and being like generally a little depressed sounding. And also your metabolism is still fantastic at 21. So
God, right?
gym, I mean, like, yeah, go for like maintenance, but like I could eat like 5 pounds of Taco Bell at that age and be fine. Like, and I
Oh my God.
did.
I love the
Um,
gym, but
oh my God. But yeah, you're so much. I mean, I also understand like where she's coming from because I do feel like my childhood best friend and I, were like at different places in our lives at different ages, right? Like, but that's life and your ability to understand that and like still try to be a good friend for what your friend needs right now and not what you only need
Mhm.
is the thing that makes her an asshole because she's not meeting her friend where her friend needs her. She's expecting her friend to come to her and it's like, it feels very like one-sided. And like I'm guilty because at that age, like I was an absolute shit friend for not meeting my friends, specifically on my childhood best friend, where she was in her life, which was a different place than I was in my life. Like I think I was like married by like 22, right? 23.
Well,
Which
weren't
I'm
we
not gonna
all?
say that's a healthy choice. Like I would not if my kids like told me that they were gonna get married at like 23, I'd be like, no, you're not.
Nobody's allowed to get married until they're 25. Some more good advice, gals. Some more good
I
advice.
was gonna say 30. I was like, establish your own career by then, and then
I'm just saying 25 because that's when your brain fully develops. That's my grain of salt advice.
oh, I mean, I think that's like when people's brains on average develop. I'm gonna tell my kids that it's like 27.
I
Like,
say
let's
no
give your
kids
brain
before 30, though. That's my advice.
yes.
Because you can
Me
get
having
married and
broken.
divorced with no kids way easier.
Oh my god, it's true. It's true. Not speaking from experience or anything. Like
Me neither.
it
I
just
had a
seems,
kid.
and I'm still married. Right, but like me breaking all of those rules that I will set for my kids, I'm like, let's just maybe I would have had I don't know, if I had like taken the time to like actually work on myself as like an individual person, I would have had more empathy and like more understanding of like what someone else might be going through who's not in my exact situation. And I feel like that's where the letter writer is. She's so young. She has not seen shit yet in this world. And so she's approaching this friend with a total lack of understanding because she's basically just can't see beyond her own like worldview right now. And I get it, like that's our own ignorance for like lack of experience, but like I still feel like she's an asshole.
So I think that all 21-year-olds are assholes and self-centered. Mm-hmm.
Also true. Also, I agree.
That's why I can say that I don't think anyone's the asshole here. So, because I think that her friend probably is going through some depression, what with the staying up all night gaming. But I also am a big advocate for you can't save everyone. Because her friend she clearly is working full time and doing things, and she's, saying that she's going through a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think that the key here is the lack of communication. So I think she does need to tell her friend that, like, hey, I feel like I'm not being heard, and I'm a little worried for you. You're staying up all night. And her friend, she's a little bit of the asshole because she's judgy. Like I said, nobody gives a
Yeah.
fuck if your friend's not going to the gym anymore. Like, find a new gym partner
Yeah.
or get a better playlist and go by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
hi, I go to the gym all the time. Nicole has not gone to the gym with me a single time. Like,
That is on purpose.
it's fine. Like, she does not like it, and I do. So guess what? I don't ask her to go with me.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that trip that you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, we had that spa trip in Kansas City. You went to the gym.
Yeah.
And I stayed in bed.
Yeah, and that is totally fine. I know that not everyone likes to go to the gym. It is cool with me.
Yeah. It was also
So,
very cool with me. Yeah.
but like, that's the thing, is if you're close friends, like you said, you meet people where they are. And again, if you feel but like I said, you grow at different places, and sometimes like you don't have things in common anymore, and that's okay. But if you still value your friends, then you talk through it. You can't just keep ignoring the issue and hope it goes away. As you get older, you find that that is not a thing that happens. You get into a stasis, and it doesn't go away. It just festers. So you have to say something.
And I think that's an excellent point. I think that's an excellent point, and actually a potential topic for another time would be ghosting, because everyone complains about being ghosted, or like ghosting is like such an epidemic now that older generations didn't really I guess utilize during breakups. Like they just bite, like, yeah, it sucks to just
like it's a
bite
tool.
yeah, it is a tool. Like if you want to stop talking to someone, you just fucking ghost
Block them.
basically.
Oh, I
know. Right? Like so I think that's an episode topic for another time. I'm actually really excited to like dig into that one with you another time. But
yeah.
Oh, we're coming up to an hour now. I want to thank everybody for joining us on today's episode, where you talked about long distance elder millennial friendships and what they mean to us, and how you could potentially find your next
delightful human being
bestie
to partner with, like we have, because we are delightful.
We are delightful. We are so delightful.
It's true.
It is. And with that, I would like to give a huge shout out to my bestie in the Midwestie, Nikki, for taking time out of your ridiculous schedule to join us.
You are welcome.
And for all of our
so fun.
By the way, I just made up that saying, Midwest, like bestie in the Midwestie. I made that up today, by the way.
You're incredible as usual.
I'm gonna get that. That's gonna be my moneymaker. I'm gonna trademark that, and everyone obviously is going to be clamoring to use that.
I mean, there's such a huge market for it.
Obviously. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And join us again next week for more tales from the Millennial Crypt. Goodbye.
Bye.